Really, really dangerous work.
Everywhere there's smoke. In Canada, we're in Minnesota. Everywhere. I'm a truck driver, so when I'm going through the mountains too, the smoke is everywhere. It's crazy. Hopefully everyone stays safe in Canada, eh?
Yesterday in Minnesota, we experienced some of the worst readings on air quality ever recorded.
It's hard to ignore or escape the thick haze that's hanging in the air right now. Here's what it looked like in St. Cloud earlier today.
It will eventually fade, but in the meantime, it is creating some stellar sunsets.
Yesterday I was golfing and I was wondering what was going on. It was kind of like a cloud overhang going on.
So someone that's never been here before, what do you normally see?
Normally see the skyline of New York City, West Side Highway. And now that you mention it, it's kind of cloudy.
Seems like a dark cloud is hanging over the city.
You could see the blue sky, it was right there, and you could feel the heat, but there was a little bit of a covering.
I noticed that the air was a little bit yellow, so it was unusual, very unusual.
And it could be here for a while.
The wildfires have been going on for over a week, but the haze here has really only been for the last several days that I've really noticed it. Last night was the first night that it looked like fog. I mean, it was very, very dramatic outside, and that was the first night I really noticed that it looked really, you could actually really see the smoke. It's pretty typical for it to happen, but it's unusual it's happening this time of the summer.
And we do expect more, probably at least into September, maybe October, because of the number of fires that are in Canada.
Get out, enjoy as much of the summer as you can before the winter comes.
That it's important to limit your time outside. But what does limiting your time mean for each person?
It bothers the sinuses a little bit because there's so much smoke in the air.
The more particles in the air, the more unhealthy it is to breathe.
It's pretty bad right now. It's about as bad as it gets. Often our air quality alerts will usually affect only a section of the state or a corner of the state, but this one's unusual. It's affecting the whole entire state, and it's a large magnitude.
Hey guys, Pedro V here. I just wanted to quickly go over this real quick, especially when this affects home. Now, when they've been saying all this smoke coming in has been from Canada, and it results to this.
And what exactly is floating up around there, Jeff?
Yeah, Amelia, I'm sure your eyes, your lungs, maybe even your mouth likely told you that what we breathed in today was not good, and the sheer amount of it was often at a level rarely seen.
Now, I believe they could easily put out these fires in Oregon or Canada, wherever the case may be, and they don't because that doesn't fit into the agenda.
State officials are urging children, older adults, and people with those breathing conditions to stay inside.
You can actually smell it, whether you believe it or not. It smells like wood burning.
Where the smoke is the heaviest, it is thick enough that it can affect the respiratory systems of even healthy individuals.
The fine particle pollution can get into the deepest parts of the lungs, cross into the bloodstream, can affect lots of people, people with asthma and chronic bronchitis. We know that people with heart disease can experience a higher risk of angina or heart attack and stroke, and we know that this does kill people.
Now, this also helps push the COVID narrative on people as well, because you are purposely affecting their health. This also weakens people to be vulnerable to a lot of things. And we also know this goes deeper into depopulation.
People in northwestern Ontario have to live with this all the time because they are right in the middle of fire season. It seems so far away for southern Ontarians. They don't affect us, but they do.
For most of this summer, downtown Toronto's Air Quality Health Index registered as low risk. But last evening, for about 3 hours, it was high risk, bordering on very high risk. This afternoon, it is back to moderate risk. The concern going forward is whether there will be increasingly more days like this in the future.
So why not have this every year to make it seem normal, and that will eventually kill us off, some faster than others.
From downtown Minneapolis to the East Metro, smoke covered the Twin Cities on Thursday.
What did you think when you looked out the window this morning?
I thought, oh boy, here we go again.
Dr. Cherie Zachary heads the allergy division at Midwest Ear, Nose, and Throat,
where the phone lines are busy.
People that have allergies are complaining, hey, normally my allergies would be over, what's going on? This has kept us on our toes.
Who's most at risk from this smoke?
Anybody that has asthma is going to be at risk if you've got COPD, if you've got emphysema, if you've got heart disease and that sort of stuff. This really is not the time for you to sit out on the deck or take a walk around the lake.
The smoke brings even more of a risk because we're in a pandemic, and people who've had COVID could have serious issues with this air quality.
Now I was listening to the radio this morning and came on, I believe his name is Dan Crocker. He started saying that healthy people, if you are outside experiencing problems, coughing, shortness of breath, to limit your activities outside. And he came out and said he was told not to panic. Take a listen.
What about folks who are healthy? Should they be staying inside too?
Yeah, that gets a little bit more nuanced. Here's what I took away from a few different pulmonologists and epidemiologists who I spoke to, and what the Pollution Control Agency is advising. So first, in general, it's a good idea for everyone to avoid bad air when possible. But healthy people shouldn't be overly concerned about being outdoors for limited amounts of time. Exercise can be okay, but pay attention to how you're feeling and limit your physical activity level as needed. And if you experience respiratory symptoms, like shortness of breath or coughing, then cut back or stop doing those activities outdoors. So really, be careful, be smart, but what I was told is don't panic.
Thank you for the updates.
Now,